Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about comparing using adjectives and adverbs and using more, most, less, or least. Adjectives when you're comparing. A short adjective we learned yesterday, you can add ER or EST when comparing. But if you have a long adjective, you cannot use ER, EST. You have to use more or most, less or least. We usually use more and less when we're comparing two items. When we're comparing more than two items, we use most and least. For example, snowstorms are less forceful than blizzards. Than is a clue word that lets you know that you're comparing something. And in this sentence, you are comparing a snowstorm and a blizzard. If we followed the rules we learned yesterday, we would have tried to add ER to forceful and make it forcefuler. Well, that is not a word, so we can't do that. It's when we have longer adjectives or adverbs that we have to add more, most, less, or least in front of the adjective or adverb to compare items. One important rule to remember: if you use more, most, less, or least, you cannot also use ER or EST. When we say less forceful, we couldn't have said less forcefuler. That doesn't sound right, it's hard to pronounce, and it's incorrect. Let's look at a few examples. In this sentence it says, snow drifts 5 feet high made the road most difficult or more difficult to travel on. Well, I have to think about what am I comparing? Well, I'm comparing driving with snowdrifts to driving without snowdrifts. So, more difficult would be the correct answer. Next, the highway was least slippery or more slippery than the country road. Well, I can see I have than, so I know I'm comparing two items, the highway and the country road. Well, the highway was more slippery than the county road. Here is another one. A driver must be blank on snow-packed roads than on dry pavement. Well, we have careful. We're comparing a driver driving on snow or not snow. Well, we can't say carefuler because that's not a word. So we have to say either more careful or less careful because we're comparing two things. In this case, if you're driving on snow, you know that would mean you have to be more careful. On snow-packed roads than on dry pavement. Let's look at the page in the book. Here are some more examples. The biting winds during the storm were harmfulest or most harmful. Well, that's an easy thing to decide. We're comparing the winds in the storm to regular winds on an everyday. Well, harmfulest is not a word. We've talked about a long adjective. We cannot put EST on the end. So we have to say most harmful because these winds compared to a regular sunny day were more harmful overall, so that makes them most harmful. Frostbite is less common or least common in Georgia than in Minnesota. We have the word than, so we know we're comparing two things. So that gives us the clue we have to use the word less common. The blizzard of 1866 was one of the toughest or most tough storms ever. Well, tough is a shorter adjective, and we can add EST, just like we did yesterday. Then we have sentences like this one. The first snowfall was blank than the last. They gave us the word beautiful. Well, this is a matter of opinion. You are comparing the first snowfall and the last, so it is two items. But you may believe that the first one was more beautiful, or you may believe it was less beautiful. So in this case, you could use more or less before the word beautiful, depending on your opinion when you're comparing the two snowfalls. January is the blank month in Jackson, Wyoming. Well, we're comparing January to all the other months, and so we would have to use EST, most, or least. Well, I know that in Wyoming it's very snowy. And snowy is a short adjective, so I can change the Y to I and add EST. When you're working on your practice exercises today, remember that more and less are used when you're comparing two things, and most or least is usually used when you're comparing more than two. On your practice exercise today, there are multiple choice questions. You have to choose which adjective or adverb was used correctly with more, most, less, or least, and which works better in the sentence. This page, a picture of this page, has been uploaded with your assignment. And as always, you can contact your teacher if you have any other questions. Have a great day.